Well, howdy, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Just getting some windows in place. This stream's actually going to be relatively short for me. Actually wanted to be done in about 10 minutes, so I might go a little bit over that, just as I would like to accomplish some of the tasks I have here. But I am move some windows around. All right, so we've been building this cryptocurrency wallet, this one right here. Here's the design. It loads. Maybe not. Maybe it won't load. All right, there's the design. So we've been building this. It's mostly built. It opens a few different dialogues. Go through. This is the design though, but you've got a list of contacts. You can click into them. You can click send or request funds. We've actually changed request now to receive. You can create new contacts. You can edit your own contact information, and you can send and receive Dash. We've gotten very near our stage one, or depending on how you want to call it. We've completed stage one, but we are in the planned QA and testing phase of everything and trying to polish things off. So basically our stage one is an MVP, so minimum viable product. Let me go ahead and get some music started real quick. All right, and in our MVP, we've got most of the stuff semi-functional, let's say. You can do almost everything, but you know, there's some stuff we need to improve, stuff that was not working as well as it should have. And so I've gotten several of the fixes in this document, this phase one testing fixed. I had actually done a few things to improve that aren't in this list, and I'm not sure they were in my to-do list either. So I had this to-do list. Let's open that. And let's see. So we've got a few things done here. I still need to look into the copy button stuff. Still need to look into the unique alias collision. Encrypted full backup and backup failed to open save dialog in Brave on Android. I've looked into this. I actually have an attempt I pushed yesterday off stream that it didn't fix Brave, but I ended up testing some other mobile browsers on Android, and some of them actually save it. So I'm not actually sure. It might be a Brave specific issue, and I couldn't find any exact documentation for what may have been going wrong. I also have not gotten to this. This is more mobile specific. And let's see, we've got some improvements here. Sent funds confirmation dialog. Batch generate. So this one is about tweaking how batch generate works. But some of the stuff that Ryan had asked me to focus on, and I'll see how quickly I can get this done, is these two tasks. There was another, but I believe I've actually completed the other one. So let's see. So the new amount text box issues. So this is referring to, let's actually go through. So one of the things I broke in my fixes today, I guess, earlier today, was the generate new wallet. stopped working, and it actually stopped working for kind of a weird reason, but it was because of another fix I did. So I'm actually going to call this Jojo. I'm actually going to go through and generate a new wallet here. So we'll get a new recovery phrase, and I'll go ahead and copy that and save that for later. So now I can say I backed up. Oh, and I missed it already. That's my bad. So that dialogue I was just on that told me to back up the recovery phrase, it had a title that matched the previous dialogue. And because of that, it was breaking. And so I did the simple, like, easiest fix to get it working again, which is I changed the title right here of that last one. So instead of both of them saying new wallet, one says new wallet, and then the next one says your new seed phrase, I think. And then this one says encrypt wallet. And I'll enter a password here. So we'll encrypt this. And now we've got a wallet created, and it's a newly generated one. So what went wrong is the dialogues. When I originally set these up, I didn't set them up as asynchronous dialogues. And I believe I had a reason for it. But I think I've shifted things enough that it no longer makes sense to keep them synchronous. It made more sense to add an async function around it. So I can actually probably show that better than explain it, if I can find the window here. So we've got these changes. These from the February 10th are all the changes from today. And so if I go in here, I believe this is it, fixes and enhancements. Maybe not. I think it should have dialogue in it. Maybe this one? There we go. Okay. So the content function that all of them depend on was not asynchronous. And so I needed to add the asynchronous thing to get things to load properly. And it was actually specifically for the contacts type stuff. And this is where we're not actually using what I did this for, but this is why. So this get avatar originally is just a synchronous function, but I needed to put something that has to happen asynchronously. So I needed to do an async await, but because it wasn't awaitable, I had to refactor some things. And so one of the things we have been wanting to do, and I actually stumbled upon recently that the reason I was waiting to do this was actually because we would need an additional library just to generate MD5 hashes. And then I found out that Gravatar actually supports SHA-256 hashes. And with SHA-256, we can use the built-in web crypto library. Or not library, the built-in web crypto API inside of your browser. And so we're able to generate the actual SHA we need for avatars, which you can't see any right now. Eventually it would be good to add one up here, like I believe is in the design. I don't have that in there right now, but it would be great if we add that in there. That's not going to happen in this stream, I don't think. But part of that is we need to add a field. So we need to add an email address field, and then you would be storing an email address if you want someone's Gravatar. But one of the other things I did, which was also a quick fix, both of these changes for the code that adds, well, I guess, let me show it. So if I click new contact, I've actually got this set up. So hopefully if I scan here, it scanned a QR code that I had printed out previously, and that's what it just input here. And if I click add contact, it now has this contact. So previously we had no color to the little avatar circle here, but now it figures out a color based on the hash of either, I believe, the name first, and if there's no name, then it figures it out based on the alias. So we have this. Actually, this is also part of why I started looking into it. I had entered a really long name, and so right now it limits it to 3 characters, but at one point I had like a bunch of details just so I could keep track of it, and I had like QR scan test for new contact, whatever. And actually, as you can see, that's interesting. So the one in the background actually changed already, even though this one hasn't updated. But you'll see the color change, and that's because it's based on the name. But I had a long name with multiple words in it, and what ended up happening is this just grabs the first initial of every single word. So it splits it by space and then grabs that initial. And so it ended up being like it didn't show outside of it, but it, you know, basically just had a bunch of letters and was only showing the middle letters for something that was centered in that circle. And so it actually had a bunch of letters that you couldn't see. So I started looking at that. I'm like, okay, we should fix that. So I fixed it. And then while I was there, I remembered that I had been looking into, can we get a color that's consistent based on a string's value? And so I had looked into some stuff. Let me pull up this here. And it may have actually been in here. Let's see. No? I thought it was called color something. Get background color. That's it. All right, so this function here, this get background color function, it's actually from here. I think I just changed some of the formatting of it, and maybe we'll update it at some point. But it allows us to take a string and change it into a it's not that one. Which one? I think it's this one. So it changes it into an HSL color. So we've implemented that. I'm not going to go over it more. You know, I've already wasted so much time just explaining the things I've done that I haven't gotten to any real work, and this is the time I want it to be done by. So, so we added that, and while I was there, I also added this get avatar URL thing, which takes a SHA 256. So this creates a SHA 256 hash and provides it as a string, but with the crypto or the subtle crypto library here, it's an asynchronous function, and without awaiting it, I couldn't actually get the value when I needed it without adding a bunch of thens, and then I would have literally had to rewrite the entire app versus switching these things over to an async function, which was a lot less work. But it caused another, like, a couple issues like this. So then I needed to await this render, because sometimes this show modal was being triggered before the stuff was rendered, and that would error. And then there was another fix that I've done in the past few fixes. And let's see. In style of key store. Oh, I also changed some of the import functionality. Let's see. There was a zoom issue on iOS when you click on form fields, and this is likely more of a temporary fix. It's a very simple change just to the HTML and just adds that maximum scale 1. But it means you can't zoom in on iOS anymore, which is very inconvenient. So we might need to find some other solution or see if we can debug that more. Oh, so the reason the actual generate broke, that's what I started to describe, is I was looking into the problem in this issue that Ryan made. And let me close these. Those aren't the issues. Which issue am I looking for? It may be closed now. Yeah, I think this is it. Okay, so this one, generate new wallet first, then exited out after some testing, then tried to click add existing wallet and got no feedback, had to refresh. So I was looking into this bug, and what I discovered was, let's actually disconnect this. This will clear out all the wallet data. So what I discovered when looking into this is we've got only one dialogue right now. So everything that's being shown on screen here is one dialogue. It's this onboarding flow. So this is it. And if you click that, now we've got two dialogues here. Maybe I should zoom in. I don't know if I need to zoom in, but that's not zooming in the thing I want. Let's see. I guess I can zoom that in a little too. That's the one I wanted zoomed in. Okay. So we've got these. We've got these two dialogues right here. So we've got the original onboarding flow, which you can see behind it, and we've got the existing dialogue. So when I close this, it has a short delay and then removes the dialogue. But the way that was being tracked originally was not, it was not spanning correctly the length of time. And so I've mostly fixed that, but I was able to still produce this issue. But for the most part, it's harder to get that issue again. And the entire reason we have this delay actually is there is a slight transition, and it's not that obvious actually right now, but actually I may have shortened it too much. Might be why it's not that obvious. Initially there was a slight delay which caused it to not be as abrupt, like abruptly show. It would fade in, fade out, I believe. And that's what the transition was doing there, was allowing us to animate this slightly. Let's see, I think it was in the close, the handle close. Handle click. Handle close. Okay. So we've got this set timeout thing here. So set timeout would, after a delay, which is set in the state, and so we could override it, but we now have it set to 500. So after the delay, it would remove it. If you remove that too soon, it wouldn't actually animate, which it looks like, man, I almost can't see any animation. I'm wondering if it's somehow disabled. Should have an animation though, or transition. The transition opacity. A 0.25 second. If we change that to 1 second and we close this, doesn't look like it's transitioning. So something's funky actually, but that should be transitioning. So every time you open or close it, it should actually be shifting the opacity to from 0 to 1. And so when you close it, it should shift it from 1 to 0. And then after that slight delay, it should remove it. But it seems to me like this is being removed immediately, and I'm not seeing the transition. So something isn't working correctly. But that's also not the top of my priority list right now, so I'm not gonna spend any time on this, but that's what was happening. So another thing that I got to and push these changes is this key store backup and the seed phrase. Right now, I did add this or, so there's a or there, at least hopefully that will make it clear, but I meant to surround this, but as I started adding the stuff to surround it, it was just looking more and more crowded, and it was not looking great. So, let's see. So what I had done is, if you actually, there are several upgrades here that I think were necessary. Right now, it verifies the phrase. So it didn't do anything because that's not a valid phrase. But if I paste one in there, or if I were to type one, as soon as the phrase is verified as valid, it grays that out. But let's say I delete one character, it's suddenly not valid anymore because it knows what words are allowed. And if you don't have the correct words, it will now not work. So there were several upgrades here for both that, and if you're not doing the seed phrase and you select one, it now grays out the, so if you're not doing the seed phrase and you select a key store, it grays out the seed phrase. So now you can't interact with that. You can replace this, and this is one of the things I need to do, is add some sort of clear functionality, because right now I think you have to close and reopen to clear that. So it would be good if once you've selected a file, if it will actually let you clear this out, so that if maybe you do want to do the seed phrase, you can get back to that. So we got that in there. That's a new change that I ended up doing offline. And let's go back to here. I'll move this back. So, welcome string bug is fixed. I'm going to close that. I was just recapping some of the stuff I did. The name collision is part of that. So, what I discovered is the way I was tracking things before, and actually it's this. Originally, I was setting, I think it was like state.rendered is equal to null type thing. So I had that, but then every single dialog that opened overrode state.rendered. This, however, this modal.rendered is actually using a reactive function. It's actually a proxy, so a proxy function. And anytime rendered is changed, instead of, so we've got this rendered here, which is an object. It starts as an empty object, and every time we add something, we do it by the slug, and this is where it went wrong. So the slug ended up being the same, the state slugs dialog, because it's generated off of the name. Let's see. So this with new wallet, the very next tab also says new wallet, not next tab, next dialog says new wallet. And so both of them had the same slug. So this one would attempt to close, but the new one would also be trying to use the same slug, and it got into kind of a race condition where it wouldn't open the next dialogue. So that's the fix we did, is we changed the name. Instead of the next one being new wallet, it's now your new seed phrase. And then we just upgraded and made sure that it had asynchronous stuff, even though I'm pretty sure this is not using anything asynchronous right now. All right, so that recaps most of the major changes I did offline. And errors for alias. So alias used to, at least for the importing, had this text there, and then also for this one had no text. So I basically copied that same text to both of them, so it says, but I've also made it so that if you get the error from it, oh, of course, now what's going on? This should be throwing an error. That's funny. It literally was working the last time, like, I don't know, hours ago. Let me refresh this and see if something funky happened. There, that's what it should do. Okay, so it should throw an error, and before it was just saying, please match the requested format, and then didn't tell you what the format to match was. So I've got this in there where it says enter a string with one or more characters that starts and ends with a letter or number and may contain underscores, periods, hyphens in between. And then gives a couple examples: John.doe, Jane_doe, 1._fan, like you can combine them and whatnot. So now we've got that in there. So when I entered an invalid character, it complained about it. And it should do that in this one. I'm actually perplexed. I don't know. Man, I even tested this recently. That should be complaining. I'm not sure why that's not working. So that's how it's doing it with the title. Required spell check. If I hover over it, that is bizarre. Man, one more thing to look at. That is working. Anyways, let me get on to the stuff that this was mentioning. So I did change. Let me go ahead and finish importing a wallet. So I'm going to do the one I had just generated on stream here. I'm going to call it JoJo. I'm going to say add, enter a phrase for encryption. And so we're in here now. It says when a leading decimal exists. So this is for the input. So send here. Let's shift this off side a little bit. Right, so when a leading decimal, oh, this is another thing I changed, is I widened this amount field. It used to be a number. So HTML5 added a number input field. So I was using that, but man, it just had so many glitchy things, and I was trying to override it, but I could not get the overrides to work. And so I ended up just switching. This is now a normal text field and with a pattern on it. So instead of being a number, it is now a text field with where did that go? Pattern, this pattern set. So it goes, it can start with a number 0 to 9 and any number of them, so it can continue with that. Then it can have a period, but only if that period is also followed by numbers. And it restricts the numbers after the period. So I believe 9. It's either 8 characters long or 9, I forget. But since this is starting at 1, I think this is, it needs at least one character, but a maximum of 9. So to show that, I should be able to go, so I could start with a period, and that complains invalid amount. Value must be a number. Or I could do 0, or I could do 1, 2, 3, and that's fine. But if I do period again, it complains. And if I do, let's do 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There you go. So that is 10 numbers, and so it triggers the invalid amount. And we could probably improve upon that message, but oh, that's annoying. I forgot about that. If I click out of there, it actually closes it. And sometimes when I'm trying to highlight something like I just did, it actually clicked out. So I could also do this, and that should be valid. Okay, so it lets me do that. And the number field actually has a step counter because you could toggle it up and down with little arrows that were on the side here. But when I set the step, I was limited. I wanted it to default to step by this number right here. But whenever I set it up that high, I could no longer enter any of these numbers. And you need, on average, probably up till 7, maybe not beyond that. But I think one of the things I was looking at went to 8. So I went ahead and just bumped it up past that 8 all the way to 9. So you could have 9 characters there, or 9 digits there, I should say. And yeah, so stepper wouldn't let me do that if I tried to set it here, which meant then if you're stepping up, it's stepping up by any of these, not by these ones. But I couldn't get that working. No matter what I tried, I couldn't override the stepper. There was a way to say, hey, the stepper can be any, but once you set that, if you did stepper any, instead of stepping by any of these numbers like you wanted, it would let you enter all those other numbers. So you could do all of this again, but it would step by a whole dash every time. So it would go 1, dang it, dag nabbit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It would step by that whole number, which is probably not what most people want to do. So that's why it's now to a normal text field that just has this pattern that validates it to get a roughly accurate number. So he's saying when a leading decimal exists, 0.01, I want it to automatically change it to 0.1. So if I do that, he's saying we should adjust that. So I've got changes in this input amount, but I realized this was kind of a useless field. It was actually not as I think I had some functionality in there that's now been shifted out, and so it's kind of a useless component. So I shifted all of the functionality out of it into the sender request, I believe. So now all of the HTML that was there is right here. So we've got an amount added here, and it shows that example placeholder. And what we want to do is handle input. It would be for this, and we're checking pattern is not a checkbox. Name 2. We want one for amount, but it doesn't look like we have one dedicated to amount in here. But what we could do is I'm gonna copy this real quick and delete that one. We're gonna say if name is amount, which I guess we do have it right there. So if pattern, but this is only happening on error. So it should be setting the custom error message there. This one happens no matter what. And so what we want to do is we want to go, oh, actually it's something like this. And event target starts with a period. So the value starts with a period. We want to do event target value is equal to it, but let's do this instead. So it's equal to itself, give or take, but like that. So then if we go send and we do dot 0, 1, there you go. So it already did it as soon as you hit the decimal. So if it's empty and you hit decimal, it enters the 0. Perfect. That actually works better than I could have hoped for. But if you already have something, yeah, cool. All right. So that works great. That's a quick solve. I like the validation disallows numbers without a leading decimal if we add the above fix. I like that the validation disallows numbers without a leading decimal. The validation allows 9 post-decimal values. It should only allow 8. Okay. So that's also an easy fix, and we can mark this as done. Okay, so that was actually in the pattern, and the pattern is in our constants here, right here. So we're going to just shift this to 8. That's it. And that will now, so I can show that too. So I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if I did a 0, it's invalid. So now we shouldn't be able to get to 9 or 0. Or if I started at 0, we wouldn't be able to get to 8 or 9, basically. So let's refresh. Do a send, and I'll do 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this should fail. Yep. Okay. So we've got both of those fixed. I can add those. Let me check them. All right, and where was that? So this is number 37, so I can say fix. Not gonna say scope. I don't know, is this a bug? And maybe I'll just say fix a bug, and I'll say closes number 37, I believe. But maybe I should say, let's see. Say input amount. So that's the valid pattern validation. Let's say insert input amount. Insert 0 if decimal. If insert preceding 0 and fix validation. And I'm going to actually switch that around. Closes number 37. All right. We're going to do that. We're going to push this. And actually, as soon as I push this, this should be closed. Push. or at least, you know, given a second or two, it should close it automatically. Oh, once it's merged. Cool. Okay, so it waits for the action, which the action just finished. Oh. No. So once the branch is merged into master, then it would close. I don't know if I like that. Is there a way to override that? Oh, I hate that. Stop it. So a link could pull to an issue using the word. Closes. Pull request. All right, that's not helpful. Oh well, it is what it is. But that one's done. I can not worry about that. Let me close that. So we're now on to number 39. And let's see. Modal. So this is new contact flow issues. New contact. Uh-oh. What happened? Okay, it like didn't register the click for some reason. That's odd. Okay, so new contact. I'm not gonna get this finished tonight. Yeah, this will have to happen another time. It's why I haven't touched it yet. I need to get to it, but I'm gonna need probably at least an hour, maybe two, just to kind of dedicate to reorganizing things. So, but I'll read through this. So it's in relation to this, add a new contact. And so it's saying overall, this modal seems too busy and is not intuitive enough. When I click, it's not obvious what I'm supposed to do. There are two main and very distinct expectations what to do at a contact, initiate a contact request, and follow up on a contact request. I'm not sure what the best design is to make this intuitive. Here are some raw notes. Send, share your contact info. Send link, copy and paste, display QR. Receive, accept, import someone's contact info. Receive link, scan QR. And I do not disagree with this. So this dialogue is the way it is because we completely forgot that we didn't have a way to display this information. So when we were approving these designs, we had thought of a lot of the stuff, but we didn't think of, okay, what do you do here? Like, sweet, we've got to add a contact. And it's like, oh wait, no, to get this information, you need a way to display that information. And, you know, it just got through under the cracks. So this got hand jammed in by me because it solves the problem, but that doesn't mean it actually is a great flow. And yeah, let me look real quick. So I want to see what the current Dash mobile wallet does. Oh, that makes it a lot easier. Dash mobile wallet doesn't have this problem because they don't have contacts. All they're doing is sharing or receiving an address, and you could also do a QR code. So they don't end up having to deal with contacts at all. What they're dealing with is this. Oh, that's interesting. that might get really annoying. I hadn't looked at that, but it would appear that by default it's a red icon, and oh man, that we need another way to figure out how to deal with these, which I could potentially just add in a way to delete it, but to the point of this is already so busy. Adding another delete button when you might not even know what the freak is going on here, adding that might just be bad. So we need to figure out a better solution for this scenario. But yeah, that makes you really want to finish pairing it so you stop seeing the red. Or I guess you could just say something else. I don't think that would work, but yeah, so if you give it a different name. I don't know. There you go. There's a different color. No, don't do the scanning. Yeah, so that finish pairing contact apparently equates to a red background. Which I should change. Maybe I'm going to change that right now while I'm thinking of it, because that would be very irritating. Let me fix this right now. That's going to be in the get avatar, I believe. Get avatar. So here-ish. Yeah. So with get avatar. Oh wait, it's not. It's where it gets implemented. So get avatar. State contact. Contact. Okay, so let's see. This is what I'm looking for. So finish pairing. So we do item alias. Oh, we're not using that. Okay, so let's go in here. Let's go and I'm gonna expand this a little bit here. So we're using get background color right there. Let's grab all of this and drop it in a variable up here. So we'll say let temp string equal that. And then I'm gonna move this like so. And mostly because I want to do console.log of get avatar temp string that. Okay. So temp string empty temp string white. Let me actually do this, because sometimes that makes it more obvious what's coming through. Yep. See that? Now I can see it's coming through as an empty string. So it's that empty string. Let me see. If I remove that, let's see if it breaks. It might break. Undefined. Yep, it broke. So we could do... If temp string we want something like this. Nope, not on the same line though. Okay, so we want to cut this here and paste it here. All right, so now, it's working. All right, that's better. All right, so now if temp string is undefined, it gets the default gray, which is slightly less worrisome than a big old red mark. So if I delete that and we come back here, oh wait, it didn't update. That's interesting. Can I not set the name to empty? I guess I can set it to a space, but not empty. That's interesting. I did not realize that. You might need to look into that. I think you can set it empty once you finish pairing, but for some reason it's not letting me do it when it's unfinished. Regardless, however, ooh, that's better. I don't mind that. The red thing was going to, that would like make people think they did something wrong type of thing. Or just be really irritating. It's like having an unread mark, and sometimes you might not be finishing the pairing for a good reason, like you don't have it. If you're waiting on someone else, that might just make you irritated with them if you've got this giant red mark looking like it's an unread or unfinished thing. Okay, so instead of temp string, let's say name or alias. All right. So if name or alias, we go ahead and get the background color and we add that. So let's commit this real quick. Let's say, I'm going to call it a fix. I think this is, I'm going to say, improve user experience. Use default color for unpaired contact. Use default BG avatar BG color for unpaired contact. All right, so we do that, and I'm gonna push that. All right, and let's go back to the feedback. So yeah, I did finish reading through this, but this is what we need to fix, and I'm not sure. I don't want to spend the time in this stream to try and solve this. Partially, I kind of just need to think through it, and so it might be better for me to take some time and think through it. And right now I've been on bug squashing and enhancement mode, like that's where my mindset has been, and so into like UI mode where I'm thinking of a better user interface or a user experience that will be enjoyable. This was never meant to be enjoyable. It was just to get the information in there, but it is overwhelming. It's too much information. If you're new to this, we don't have that much information to explain why you have to do that. And so, if we can figure out an elegant solution to that where, yeah, maybe it does start out like this one, where that's a lot more simple. It's a couple fields. But for instance, if you're, if you're in person with someone and you're trying to add them as a contact to your wallet, one of you might be trying to share your information first while the other one inputs that, and then the other would want to share after they've input the information, type of thing. So it might be better to for new contact, when it pops up, instead of showing something like this, like see, edit profile, we also need to change. It's too much. I don't love this backup wallet. This is not good design, in my opinion. Like, you know, and this is saying the guy who came up with this. I mean, I am basing it around the design that Nick has done here, but like, this is not a great usability. It works, but it doesn't look great to me. But even something like this, where instead of new contact popping up, dang it, I didn't mean to do another new one. Instead of this popping up like this, if it popped up something like this, where it was like add contact information or share your information for them to pair, that at least like restricts it down, where then you're only seeing this part, or unless you're trying to share your information, then you would be seeing just this. Maybe I can, let's see if I can fake it real quick. So say display none. That doesn't look good. Why would you let me do that? Let's see if we actually switch this around. So instead of an aside, this is a section. Whoa. Well, that's something else entirely. I don't know why I did that. That's funny. I wonder. Ooh, I can't win. Okay, well, instead of that, let's just use this. So, like, if you're trying to share it, you should see something like this. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble just hand jamming that, but I think it would be better if you could see it this simple, like share this with the new contact. If you close out, you get back to the like backup wallet version and like add their contact info or something like that. Like, we need some combination of that. But it could also be something like this, maybe, where pair with a contact or something, like and maybe we give some descriptors in there where it's, you know, says like to pair with a new contact, you need to share your pairing information and add their pairing information. And then down here we could just say like share mine, you know, add theirs, type of thing. And so instead of the multiple buttons we have in the backup, we could just use this kind of same dialogue, give some description of what you need to do, and it would simplify things a little bit. The reason it's kind of hand jammed is if you don't do it at the same time, you get stuff like this. So someone is going to have an unfinished contact pairing where they have no information about the data. But if you put all this data there, I feel like you're less likely to forget that, oh yeah, they need to share this. But either way, we need some way of showing these two things separately. So that's where I'm I'm not gonna get to that tonight, but that's what we need to do. Let's see. Yeah, I've already been doing this stream longer than I intended, so I'm probably gonna wrap up here. I want to see if there's anything I should check off of this list first. Reason yeah, okay. There no description about what the alias is and what I should do here. Description does exist in the existing wallet. Okay, this is one of the things that's done. The error could be more helpful by describing in plain English what the requirements are for the alias. Okay, so both of these are actually done-ish. Let me find that. And I'll come in here and say, this should be resolved in. So that is the field could be more helpful by describing in plain English. Okay. So I'm going to say, close with comment. And then I'm gonna close this one. Oh wait, I should have copied that comment. Darn it. Let's refresh. Gonna edit and just copy all of that, and then also paste it here and say this should be resolved by that. All right, so those two should be closed. They're already checked off. How does the wallet actually work? So this comment is actually why I'm saying we could use that descriptor inside of, so kind of like this lock, do something like this where it's got the share your information, add theirs or something like that. And we give more of a description of what's happening in the pairing process. Seed phrase field enhancements. This might be done. Let me check. Okay, so there should be enhancements to the original stage 1 key store drop zone and seed phrase should get disabled based on interaction with the opposing field. Alias has updates for generate and import to have better descriptions and a title set that gets displayed when the forms pattern is invalid. It details how to make a valid alias. Please check that and see if it matches expectations. Disabling the unnecessary fields is a nice improvement. I think I'm still inclined to disable the populated alias field as well. But maybe let's have Cool AJ86 and or others test to see what they have to say. Yeah, so I disagree with that. I think the alias should be there. But I'm like, you know, out from 0 to 10, you know, I'm like a 7. I'm not 6 or 7 on that. Like, I think it should be changeable, but I don't care that much. It's not like it has to be this way. It's the only way to do it. I could be convinced either way. I just lean that way. So a couple issues. There's no way to unselect an already selected file. I've already gone over this earlier in the stream. The file upload field doesn't highlight when tabbing. Oh, this we might be able to fix. Let's disconnect. So that's in here. The file upload field doesn't highlight when tabbing. Works, just no visual feedback. I mean, I know why that happens. And you can even, yeah, you can even trigger it actually when you tab to it. So the reason that happens is the input field here is actually hidden, or pretty close to it. So it has a very small width, has opacity 0, overflow hidden, position absolute, and z-index -1. So in reality, what's happening is it's being triggered by this label. So everything surrounding it is a label, and it's set to the ID for that input file field. And that's how we're actually dealing with it, is you can drag and drop onto the label and it grabs the file information, or when you click the label, it actually triggers it. But with how HTML works, we don't have a solid way of overriding the look and style of the default file field. And so this is the trick to get it to look in a way that is more modern. So the reason it's not highlighting is it's targeting this input field that is basically invisible for all intents and purposes. It's essentially invisible, except you can't, I think there's something about, you can't set it like completely hidden. You can set the opacity to 0, but if you do width and height 0, suddenly it like won't function anymore or something like that, which is why we have to keep it having a very small amount of width and height. And we can't say display none. It's gotta still be like a normal displayed thing. It's funny. But we might be able to detect when it is focused. So let me go to, this would be the wallet, no, phrase import. So there's change, input, submit, drag and drop, all that, close. Let me actually go to the dialog first. So see if we have a handle focus. I don't know. Oh, we do. Assuming that works. Let me grab that, come back here to the phrase import. We're going to drop this here. Actually, I'm just going to enable this for now. So handle input focus. I'm going to say phrase import handle input focus. And I'm actually going to wrap that in an array. Okay, so let's refresh and add. And where's our debug stuff? There it is. And I'm going to keep it off to the side. Okay, so, and I'm going to clear that. Well, it's not detecting focus. It doesn't. Oh wait, no, I might be filtering it. Let me redo that. So I focus the window. Okay. All right. Let's do event and event.target. Let's do that. Okay. The phrase existing wallet alien. Wait, what? The target it's saying is focused is actually the wrong target. Because as you can see, the blinking cursor is on seed phrase now. Assuming you can see that. There, I'll zoom in a bit. So we're focused on seed phrase, but it's saying key store. I guess the related target, maybe it's treating it as like a focus out. Let's go to MDN real quick. I'm gonna check out which events there are, because there might be a focus in and focus out. Focus event. Focus in, focus out. So event fires when an element has received focus. Event does not bubble, but the related focus in event that follows does bubble. Opposite of focus is blur event, which fires when the element has lost focus. Not cancelable. Let's try focus in rather than that. I'm just going to switch this to focus in. And then I'm going to go into dialog here and change this to focus in. And then I'm going to find where this gets added. And, oh! It's actually set to focus out. I did not realize that. That's interesting. Okay, but if we set it to focus in, let's see if that does what I was expecting. All right, and I should bring this back. All right, so add existing phrase, existing alias phrase. Okay, so this is what I wanted. So we want to go, let's see, phrase import. Let's do if event dot target dot ID. Well, actually, let's look at it. So we're focusing on key store. So if the ID is key store equal to key store, let's say target event dot target dot parent element class list dot add let's just call that focus. And you know, while I'm thinking of it, so we have focus out, focus in. I'm gonna go ahead and do blur, not blur, blur. We'll say handle blur. Okay, and we want to add a blur here. Handle blur. For that, we'll do this. Okay, there. And also want, that's why I just added this, so I want a handle blur event. Actually, let me say that first, so blur. And I'll say focus out and focus in. And actually, while I'm thinking of this, I'd rather rename this to focus out. Since it's already set to focus. Oh, not that. Focus out. Yeah, since it's already set to that. But let's find if we were actually using handle focus anywhere else. So send or request. Let's say that's focus out now. And where were we? It's out. We wanted a handle blur. Might move this up like that. Okay. That, so handle blur. That. Hey. More of Agrowall. Sorry if I butchered your name. I did my best. How are you doing? Okay, so we also want to add this here. And actually, I'm going to copy that and say blur. Okay, and maybe we'll go ahead and do this as well. All right, so now if we do event target ID is not key store, remove. Okay, let's do that and try this again. And move this off to the side. So we're on that one. Now we're on key store. Oh, I should have inspected it. That's what we're actually. So, okay. So it's not removing it. That's for certain. Well, dang it. Oh, I'm not seeing handle blur at all. So handle blur is not being triggered. Right? Yeah, no blur. So maybe we have to rely on out. Let's say focus out. We'll say focus out. Okay, let's try that instead. Oh wait, let's inspect. So we've got not removing it, that's for sure. Oh wait, that's my bad. That makes a lot of sense. Um, hmm. So I think with focus out, we want related target. Let me see if that works. So target, current target, related target. So let me see. If related, wait, no. Is that right? Related target is key store. All right, let's try that. And let's go here, and I'm going to inspect this. All right, so focus, not working. The related target. Hmm. Guess it's not related target we need. See if we flip-flop those, what happens. Nope. Oh. So it added and removed focus. Key store. Focus out. Shouldn't I? What? Related target is key store. All right, so I don't think related target is going to do what I wanted it to. Let's do this to see if I can track it a little bit easier when it's saying the ID every time. All right. Okay, inspect here and add. So focus button, key store, focus out. So focus out is going from key store. So focus out we want to remove. Phrase. So focus out. So if focus out ID, we do want to remove it. And then focus in, we want to add. I think that should have actually worked. Okay, focus. Oh, that's working. Okay. So if that's working and we go to the styling for form, we'd find updraw. And we say, we can maybe do this. So focus and comma. All right, so that might do. Yep, it makes it solid. I don't know if I want it solid though, so let's copy that. I'm gonna drop this and that, and instead of solid, let's say dotted. That at least changes. It doesn't look completed. What other options are there? So dash, dotted, double, groove, ridge. Let's try double. Let's try a couple of these and see if one of them stands out as something I dig. Double just looks like a normal border. Ridge, I think, was another option. Do that. That looks like a funky border that you can't. It just looks like something's broken about it. Not that. What was the last one? Groove. Groove looks similar to me to that last one. So I'm thinking none of those. Dotted is probably the most stand out of the few. I'm gonna go with dotted for now, mostly because I want it to be different. Like, you need to interact with it, because when you drag and drop one, so I'm going to drag this, you get a solid border. And I want it to be different from that solid border there. So if we have it so that when you focus on it, it goes to one border. And when you tab out, it goes to the default one. I think that's okay. So I'm gonna do that for now, and maybe I'll get some feedback from Ryan and he hates it, or, you know, maybe he loves it. I don't know. We'll see. But let me go back here. I'm gonna remove. No, I'm leaving that one for now. Let's do, that's what I want. So I'm gonna remove the console log now that we've more or less figured it out. I don't think we want to change like prevent default or anything in it, so I'm just gonna drop that. And let's see, let's compare it again. All right, and then dialogue. Yeah, let's blur, focus out, focus in. I'm gonna leave those as well. I don't love having it there, but when I end up having to copy that and I have the little boilerplate so I can track stuff, I prefer that. All right, so let's say fix UI and improve user experience. Keyboard tab focus on key store. And where was that? So completed 36. All right, let's do that. And I'll go ahead and push. And I should get, there you go. Now I'm referencing that issue. And I'll check that off. Is there a way to, let's see, quote reply. I'm gonna drop this there. The copy clean link should be fixed by, and in GitHub you just need the commit ID, so I'm gonna do that rather than the whole link. All right, should be fixed by that. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that comment. And I think I'm gonna wrap up here. We're about an hour and a half in, and I've done this longer than I intended. So, I think I saw a couple people tune in and got a hello from Gorov. So, hello, goodbye. Thank y'all for tuning in, and I will catch y'all next time. And okay, and please consider liking, subscribing, sharing, following, commenting, and hey, if you even don't like it, like, let me know what you didn't like in the comments, and you know, if it's something I can improve upon, I'd love to hear your feedback. So thank you, and I will catch you all next time. Bye.